Welcome to another session of spectroscopy or analytical techniques. Today we'll understand about the different modes of infrared or IR vibrations. Before we move on, subscribe for more such informative videos and drop in your comments after watching the video. At the end of the session, you'll be able to enumerate the different modes of IR vibrations, calculate the number of vibration modes for a linear and non-linear molecules, and explain the stretching and bending vibrations of a linear molecule and also a non-linear molecule. First, let us understand the criteria for a mode to be observed in a IR spectrum. That is, when a molecule will be IR active. That is, when we have a permanent dipole in a molecule, then it can absorb IR radiations. Okay, that is, if you have a homonuclear diatomic molecules like oxygen, chlorine, nitrogen, will not have any dipole moment and it will not absorb any IR radiation. But if you have a heteronuclear diatomic molecules like HCl, CO, etc., it will have a permanent dipole moment and it will absorb some IR radiations and it will show a peak in the IR spectrum. For polyatomic molecules, we'll have a permanent dipole moment, but some cases if it's a highly symmetric bond, then you will not have permanent dipole moment and it will be IR inactive molecules. First, let us understand how to calculate the number of vibrations for a particular molecule. That is, we should first understand the basic behind it. That is, when you have an atom and when you allow it to move freely in a three-dimensional space, okay, it will have 3 degrees of freedom. That is, it can move along x-axis, y-axis or z-axis. So, it has 3 degrees of freedom and all the 3 degrees of freedom will be translational motion. That is, it can move by translational motion alone. But if you have a molecule with n number of atoms, then the degrees of freedom will become 3n. That is, for one atom we have 3 degrees of freedom. So if you have n number of atoms, it will be 3n degrees of freedom. But here, apart from translational motion, we will also have vibrational and rotational motions because in a molecule, bonds will be present. Okay, if I take a non-linear molecule, we are having 3 translational motion. But due to that bond, we will have 3 rotational motions along 3 axes. So, we have 3 plus 3, 6 motions put together for translational and rotational. So, the number of modes of vibration will be 3n minus 6. Why we are interested in modes of vibration alone is in IR spectroscopy, it is nothing but vibrational spectroscopy. We'll have peaks only for the modes of vibration. So we are interested in how many number of modes of vibrations are possible in a molecule. If it is a linear molecule, as usual you will have 3 translational motion, but you will have only 2 rotational motions because along its own axis, even though there is a rotation, you will not have any change will not be noticed. So that particular rotation is not counted and we will have only 5 different motions. So the number of modes of vibrations will be 3n minus 5. So you can calculate this very easily for any molecule given to you. If a diatomic molecule like HCl is given, n is 2, so 3 into 2, 6 minus 5, because it's a linear molecule. I am taking 3n minus 5 formula, so it is 1. For a diatomic molecule, we will have only one vibration mode. It can be a stretching, it can elongate or contract. We will see in the next slide. Polyatomic molecules, if I have a linear molecule like carbon dioxide, the formula will be 3n minus 5. So we have 3 atoms, so 3 into 3, 9, 9 minus 5 is equal to 4. So we will have 4 modes of vibration. But if you have a non-linear molecule like water, the number of modes of vibration is 3n minus 6. So 3 into 3 minus 6, that is, we will have only 3 modes of vibration. This way you can calculate for any type of polyatomic molecules. Now we will understand the different modes of IR vibrations in a linear molecule. So example is like carbon dioxide. So this red ball indicates carbon and this blue balls indicate oxygen here. if you have a symmetrical stretching, we'll have on both the sides, it can either elongate or it can contract. So it will be a elongation contraction on both the sides alternately. So this we call it as a symmetric stretching, because the same action is taking place on both the sides and the bond length during expansion and contraction will be symmetrical on both the sides. But we call it as asymmetric stretching when we have contraction on one side and expansion on the other side. So you'll see, once you have expansion, then contraction. So where you had contraction, you will have expansion. This action will happen alternately. So this we call it as asymmetric stretching. Then what type of bending vibrations are possible in a linear molecule? So the linear molecule is not bent, so it can bend. That is, the center atom can move down and the side atoms can move up to form the bending action this way, or the center atom can move up and the side atoms can move downwards to get a bending action this way. So alternately we'll be having this bending actions. This is for a linear molecule. But for a non-linear molecule like water, the symmetric stretching, you should assume that it's on a plane, and we'll look at the symmetric stretching. That is, both the sides it is expanding or both the sides it is contracting. So you will have alternately the expansion and contraction uniformly on both the sides, and this we call it as a symmetric stretching. But when it is not uniform, that is, one side it is expanding and the other side it is contracting, that is, when this expands, this contracts. So this way alternately it happens, and we call this type of stretching as asymmetric stretching. Now we'll look into the bending vibrations. Because the molecule is already bent, we'll have a different type of bending vibrations in non-linear molecules. That is, we have in-plane bending and out-of-plane bending. First, assume that the molecule is placed on a paper. That is, you will have the plane of the paper. All the three atoms are on the plane of the paper. The center atom never moves out of plane. Here, all the three atoms will be in plane bending. So, all the three atoms will be in plane only. It will not go out of the plane. That is why we are calling it as in plane bending. So, within that paper plane itself, what will happen is the atoms, that is the oxygen atoms, hydrogen atoms, because H2O, red indicates oxygen and blue balls indicates hydrogen. The hydrogen atom on one side will move towards the left hand side, and the other side it will move towards the right hand side. So opposite side. So here you can see, when this move towards the right hand side, this move towards the left hand side. So this way alternately opposite side bending will take place, and it will look like a scissoring action. So we call this type of bending as scissoring. So opposite side it will move. When one atom moves towards left hand side, the other atom will be moving towards the right hand side, and vice versa. This we call it as scissoring. But in rocking, but here also all the three atoms will be on the same plane, but both the atoms will move towards one side itself. See, both the atoms are moving towards left hand side, or both the atoms are moving towards the right hand side. This type of bending vibration we call it as rocking. But an interesting concept is out of plane bending. That is, you assume that all the three atoms are placed on the plane. When it absorbs IR radiation, the center atom is always on the paper itself. You assume that the center atom is always on the paper, that is red ball. But the blue balls, if one side, if it is coming above the paper, the other ball is going below the paper. So it is going out of plane. The ball which is coming above the paper will be closer to your eyes, and it will look bigger, and the one which is going below the paper will be away from your eyes and it will look smaller. But actually the size of the atom is not at all changing. Because the distance from your eyes is changing, it looks as though the one which is coming above the paper is bigger in size and one which is going below the paper is smaller in size. This alternately happens. So once when this comes above the paper, the other atom goes below the paper. Similarly, when this goes below the paper, this will come out above the paper. This type of bending vibration we call it as twisting. But when both the atoms come either above the paper like this or both will go below the paper, then we call it as wagging. That is, out of both these are called as out of plane bending because the side atoms are moving out of the plane. If I assume that my plane is the paper, the side atoms are moving either above the plane of the paper or below the plane of the paper. So these are the different types of bending vibrations in a nonlinear molecule. So we have learnt about the stretching and bending vibrations for a linear molecule as well as a nonlinear molecule, and we have also learnt how to calculate the number of modes of vibrations for a polyatomic molecule. Any polyatomic molecule given to you, you can calculate the number of atoms and find out the number of modes of vibrations. This is all for the session. Let us meet in another session. Until then, bye bye. Thank you.